Hey everybody, what's going on? Claudio here. Welcome to Creators Lounge, and thank you for those of you who are live with us being here live. Thank you so much for that. Let me go ahead and mute some audio over here so I don't hear my echo. Um, if you weren't here last week, there's a reason why. I took a break last week, and so we're back again. And I think it's always good to take a little bit of a break, mentally, physically, and just sometimes it was one of those moments where, like, I just need to take a little bit of a break, and it was a well timed break. But back, excited to have the show on again today. And if this is your first time joining Creators Lounge, really what this is about is a space to get together with creative individuals, and let's not necessarily say that you're thinking I'm not creative, I can't be there. It's creativity. Everyone has a creativity in them, but this is just a space to really focus and just talk about it and chat about it. So I've had photographers on, musicians, artists, graphic designers, and so as the show grows, my goal is to have as many guests on and just really just have a good time talking about creativity and maybe in specific fields. So hopefully soon I'll have like some filmmakers and a whole just slew of people. So pretty pumped. So if you have not done this before, I'm going to ask, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. There's a little subscribe button. Would appreciate a subscribe. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Pretty pumped about today. Excited. This has been in the works for maybe two weeks, 3 weeks. I think, and now I'm losing track of time. But my next guest, met him last year in San Francisco at an Adobe Education Leaders Summit. And he's just an amazing individual. I was like, this guy's so cool. And when I reached out to him and saying, would you be interested in being on the show? He didn't even hesitate, jumped onto the opportunity. And we were going to have actually two guests on today. But unfortunately, we have like this stuff called technology that doesn't always cooperate with you. And so, and that is Wildthing's not going to be with us today. So I'm a little bummed about it, but we'll hopefully make it up. But without further ado, I'm going to actually bring on my guest, and that is Mr. David Dodds. How are you, man?
Hey, how are you, Claudio?
I'm doing well. Super pumped about today. Excited to chat. And as I was saying at the start, we don't get to see Wildthing today. So those of you who've been looking at the promos and seeing it was like Wildthing, in the picture, and it was like we were like super excited and want the technology stuff just like doesn't cooperate. But hopefully we'll bring them back on a recap episode or just a new episode. But man, how's it going? How's your day been?
My day's been going great. I've been spending almost the entire day working on Wildthing and him being here and getting him ready. So that has been like a bulk of my day, is working on that and making sure everything was good to go. But I just want to say, everyone that tuned in to see Wildthing, we're definitely going to try to make it up. I mean, I think that he's ready for his close-up. He's ready for his moment on the stage. And so I just think that eventually, when the time is right, I believe in, like, when the time is right, things happen. And sometimes, maybe this just for some reason it wasn't time for it to happen. So,
and like I said, it'll be perfect timing when it happens.
Right. Exactly.
So let the people know what do you do? What is your kind of role in the
in the world?
Because that's what we met in kind of like the education field.
Yeah.
Beyond that, what just so people know, get to know you.
Okay.
Tell us a little about you.
So I'm an animator. I am a motion graphic artist, and I teach animation at UCLA. And that's how we met, was through the Adobe Education Leader Summit. And that was my first time. That was like my eye-opening experience to Adobe Education Leader. It was just was just incredible. But yeah, so I teach animation, and I do animation also for clients around the world. And I'm also a keynote speaker, and I'm a writer, and yeah. And I do hand painted shirts. So
I know that
this is one of my
when
original.
you presented up at the summit last year, it's like, man, that's like from far away, it's like it looks like the material's already pre-printed, but then you get closer, like, oh man, you like hand painted every single shirt. And like, I think you had one like a different one every day, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah. Someone came up to me and they said, "Do you wear anything other than those shirts? Or is it that kind of like your only?" And I'm like, I wish that's what I could wear all the time, but it actually takes a long time to make these. So yeah, so I don't wear them all the time.
How long does it take to make one?
That is a good question, because you have the concept phase, you're developing it, and then you actually start tracing. So I actually trace with pencil on the shirt, and then I use fabric paint. And so I would say, I'm just going to say like a couple weeks, because you have to do the front and then you have to do the back. You have to wait for the front to dry, then you do the back, and then sometimes you have to go back and do touch-ups and things like that. So it takes a little while.
So my daughter does, and she may use these same paints. I just buy. She just says, "Dad, can you buy these?" I just buy them, so I don't know. So she takes her like Converse. She's got several Converse, just like plain black or white. And then she'll go and she does some really cool stuff like this wave on the shoe, and but then there's something you put over it so it doesn't wash off, or I guess it's a type of paint. I'm not sure, but I'm like, you need to, maybe you just need to like market yourself and like, send me your shoes and I'll paint, and send me the payment or something.
It's really amazing to wear art, to actually create art and then wear it throughout the world. And it's just, it's like your walking canvas.
So you're funny you say that. So I happen to have a shirt right here. That little microphone. Actually, that's something that I designed about 2 years ago. And there was a little kind of a something I did on Twitter. It's kind of like people were telling me, man, you created a movement, but I'm like, I just put it out a tweet. People enjoyed it, but it was a hashtag sing a song, and there's a software called application called Flipgrid, and you basically record yourself. And I said it was kind of like somewhat of a challenge, but I'll say, hey, what would happen if we all sang together? And then there's been over 8,000 people singing different songs on there.
What?
Over 8,000 recordings.
And you started that?
Yeah, 50,000 views, and we got teachers, students, people who are not in education, a bunch of different people singing on there, and just different songs. I would do themes and like, hey, let's do 80s, let's do this and that. Then people are like, oh, this is so cool. And then I started making these stickers and mailing them out, and this, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this shirt. And then I haven't posted or tweeted about it in such a long time. It became almost like a full-time, like it was just so hard to manage, but I gotta tweet it again, get it started up again. But it was great, just bringing people together, singing, and it was pretty cool.
Cool. Did you sing as well? Did you sing?
Yeah, I did the first song. I posted the first song.
So what? So now that you said that, Claudio, I want to hear you sing. I'm like, what's he got? See, Wildthing was going to sing. He was going to dance. He was going to perform. So now it looks like it's up to you.
Now you got me on. Now you put me on the spot. Okay, with a crackling voice. So I did. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sing a song. I tell people I'm a musician, or that's my like drum set right there, and I was like, well, I will. I play in the background, but so I did sing a song. Earth, Wind, and Fire, sing a song. So now I got to bring up the lyrics because I'm going blank. Here, let me do this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fans out there. So if you get the words wrong, you don't want to mess up. You don't want to upset the Earth, Wind, and Fire fans.
Yeah, because
I'm famous
again,
for singing the wrong words to songs. Like I
yeah.
just singing the
Well,
wrong words
I grew up singing lots of songs with the wrong lyrics.
with the wrong words. I did a karaoke once. It was a Bob Marley song, and I got up there, and the words are on the monitor, and I was singing, and I was like looking at those words, and I was like, just didn't even want to sing the words because I was like, it doesn't say that, but it did say it, and but it's definitely, you don't want to be singing the wrong words, but sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're hearing the song on air, and it sounds like they're saying that, but they're saying something completely different.
Yeah, there's a song that says my Sharona. My Sharona. My daughter's like, I always thought it said my Barcelona. So every time we hear, we're like Barcelona. So here, I'll do my best with the crackly voice that I got.
Okay.
So when you feel down and out, sing a song. It'll make your day. It's a time to shout. Sing a song. It'll make your day. With the phone ringing, sometimes it's hard to care. Sing a song. A smile so hard to bear. Sing a song. It'll make your day. All right, that's the best I got right now.
That was awesome.
And I'm like, mute this phone. That was funny. A little live phone call during the session, but so it was cool. But yeah, I love the whole talk of wearing what you create. That's pretty. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, wearable art, man. It's amazing. It's I love it.
And there's and I think there's a lot that you can do in schools with that, with all ages. I mean, even my wife does it with the little ones. She teaches kinder, and you got the little shirts, and she'll take paints, and I was like, okay, everybody get your hand, and you're gonna do it on the shirt, with paint, and she's trying to make sure that they don't make a mess, and it was like, we're gonna do a hand, and then you're gonna write Happy Mother's Day or Father's Day, whatever it is. I forget what holiday, but they're like, and then they let it dry, and then hey, here's a gift, for her mom. But it's really, then the kids are like, hey, look, that's my shirt that I made for my mom, or I think it's a really neat idea.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Just more and more. So we were mentioning before we went live, we were talking about, you said you were working on Wildthing. Specifically, your gift. Okay, my camera just went dead on me here. That's too funny. There we go. That's all right. You get it. I got a backup camera here.
There you go. Good. See, he's a professional, you guys. He knows what he's doing. This isn't his first time at the rodeo.
Yeah, it's a backup camera. So, okay, where was I?
We were talking right before.
Right before. And we were talking about Wildthing and just your gift and with animation. So what got you started with wanting to be an animator?
I love that question. I originally didn't really know what I wanted to do. I went to a career coach, and it completely changed my life. The career coach suggested that I go into motion graphics, and I didn't even really know what that was. Mm-hmm. I was a painter. Okay. So that was my passion, doing watercolor paintings and things like that. And I had this one goal, is to make a living selling my watercolors at Venice. That was like my big goal in life. And I actually tried it, and I realized it's really not for me. I'm not comfortable doing that. But I did go to a career coach, and they suggested I go into motion graphics. And like I said, I didn't really know what that was. But I checked it out, and I checked out Otis, and I ended up really liking that school. And I went to Otis and did motion. And when I finished Otis, that's what I was doing, was motion graphics. Mm-hmm. And for years, that's what I did, is just doing motion graphics. And I got the opportunity to start teaching at UCLA. Now, mind you, character animation, I wasn't really doing character animation at that time. I was pretty much, I had some interest in it, but for the most part, I was motion graphic artist. So for you, those that are listening that doesn't know what motion graphics is, it's like a combination of graphic design combined with traditional animation combined with like visual effects, things like that.
Yeah.
So those things come together to make this thing called motion graphics. And I loved it. It's great. It's an awesome field. And then I started getting into infographics. You know what those are? Those little explainer videos. And I was like, this is really cool, because this is a way to create something that's entertaining and that's that is educational and can inform people on things. But then you also have the ability to bring characters in it and to do little animation with characters. And so back at that time, I was doing lip syncing by hand. So I was like literally doing, like, I had all these mouth sets, and I'd have to cycle through to get the right mouth set. And I created all these characters and you know, I was like, but it was all doing it the old fashioned way, or doing like the longer way. And I would, in order to animate the arms, I would do, have you heard of Puppet Warp in After Effects?
Yes.
So I still remember when that came out, and I was just like, oh my God, this is a game changer, right? So that's how I was essentially kind of animating my characters with Puppet Warp and then doing the mouth sets myself. So when I discovered Character Animator, and I don't even remember exactly when or how I discovered it, but when I discovered it, I'm telling you, Claudio, I was like running around just like, oh my God, this is incredible. Look at this. And my boyfriend at the time was like, or my boyfriend, he actually still is my boyfriend. I'm not, he still is. We're together. Like, okay, just in case he's listening. So I was like, this is incredible. He's like, well, what does this have to do with motion graphics? You know, this is an After Effects. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, this is a game changer. It actually, at that time, it came with After Effects. It was like something that you could launch it inside of After Effects. And so anyway, it was just a game changer. And so for me, I was like, this was perfect timing, because I had been trying to find other ways to do character animation. And so when Character Animator came about, or when I discovered it, I was like, this is perfect. I already had characters that I had already designed. And so all I had to do is just bring them into Character Animator, rig them up, and they were, you know, good to go. So that began it. And then I introduced it in my classes and started teaching it at UCLA, and the students were really interested in it. And their complaint was that there wasn't enough time to really devote to it. The most I typically do is like 1 week on it, and that's not nearly enough time. And so, so that really began it. And then I started creating my own little animated shorts. I got an opportunity to speak at DMALA. Have you ever been there? It stands for, oh, of course not. You're not in LA, so you wouldn't be going there probably. So it stands for Digital Media Arts of Los Angeles. And they asked me, they were like, oh, would you love to speak? And I was like, absolutely. And they were like, what would you like to speak on? And I'm like, definitely Character Animator. So they're like, that's great. Come on through. And so I created this little animated short called I Want You Back. And I created it just for that event. And it was, you know, Character Animator, all these little characters. It's actually the Jackson 5. It was this little video about the Jackson 5. And they loved it. It turned out really great. And so from that spawned just a lot of other things. I put the video on social media. It got a great reaction, great response. And then I got a book deal based on that. Someone saw my work and they were like, we love what you're doing. And I was like, are you sure you have the right person? Like, I've never wrote a book before, you know, like, no, that's perfect. That's great. You know, we want people like you. We've seen your work. We want someone who is an educator. And, you know, I have to say, just to kind of back up, when I started teaching, what I realized is that teaching is just a platform to convey information for people, and hopefully in ways that's memorable and to help them reach their full potential. And I feel like writing is actually the exact same thing. It's just in a book form.
Okay.
So that's what I call my book is like a classroom in a book. And so are you trying to find, you're just pulling up the
I
website?
just pulled up DMALA. So is this the right site right here?
That's the site.
Yeah. I'm
And
looking.
the funny thing about that is that I remember going to that group when I was in college,
Okay.
and one of my professors had told me about it, and so yeah, I had not been back since when I went there for that event, and it was like oh my God, it's full circle now. I have students in the audience, and my professor who taught me, he was there, like he still runs the group. His name is Ko. So Ko is he's really awesome. So yeah, so that just led to and so from that, once I got the book deal and then I started getting stuff out there, someone saw the video and she liked it, and she's actually associated with Adobe, and she was like, "Oh, this is great. I love what you're doing. I love the video. Next year you should do Adobe Max." And I was like, "What? Adobe Max?" Like that just was like so out of the realm of possibilities of what I thought I could do. But I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Yep, I can do it. Yep, I'm excited. Yes, definitely Adobe Max. And then from that, she invited me to an event that was actually during the Adobe Max time period. And she introduced me to a lot of people. One of the guys was Stephen Burns.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's an AVL member. And so he was like, I love this video. He was like, you should come and speak in San Diego. And I'm like, yes, I'd love to come and speak about Character Animator. And so you see, it's just like one thing led to another. Yeah. And then he's the one that told me eventually he's the one that introduced me to Adobe Education Leader. And I'd never even heard of that before. I mean, I didn't even know really what that was. I knew what I hoped it was. I knew the potential of what it could be.
So what was the title of your book again?
It's called Hands-On with Motion Graphics.
Okay, so I think.
You're gonna look it up?
There
it is. Oh, there you go. Boom.
All right.
There you go. That's my website, y'all. You can find everything about me. It's all there. Everything is there.
Share the site right there. That's cool. I didn't realize you had written a book, man. That's neat.
Yeah, man. And it's so many things. It's like I was saying, and when getting to our topic about the creative process is well, anyway, I'll get to that when you ask me. I know we're.
Oh yeah. No. I think it's a perfect segue. I mean,
perfect segue.
Perfect segue. I mean, that's definitely something that part what I really want people to get from when they watch this is looking at the creative process from different. A musician may work at it differently. The creative process as opposed to an architect or something. But I love listening to all the different approaches to the creative process. It's amazing. It's great because you can always learn from each other and learn. Like,
absolutely,
I didn't think of that. So no, perfect segue.
Well,
so
I'd also like to hear your process. So, it's my favorite. I mean, next to Character Animator, I would say it's probably my favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good segue because I would say all of those things that I just talked about, they all just kind of led organically to the other thing, and so each of those steps along the way, there was fear. So, and that's one thing I want to talk about with the creative process, because I think it's like you have the creative process and you're very open and it's like, yes, I'm curious. I would say that would be my definition for creativity is the path of following the path of curiosity over the path of fear. So I think those two things kind of go hand in hand. So let's say, the book deal. So as soon as I got offered that, right along with it was, oh my gosh, I've never written a book before. What do I have to share? But at the same time, there is this great opportunity, and it's about being open to those golden opportunities that we have in life. And so, each one of those things I think kind of led to the next thing, which was then I got asked to speak in Australia, so through the Adobe Education Summit, they were like, oh, there's one in Australia. I was like, yes, I'm definitely going to do that. Absolutely. I'm going to Australia. And he wanted me to speak on creativity. Tim Kitchen, really awesome. And so I did. And so, yeah, it's like each one of those things, it just kind of, I think it's about being open, being in the moment, saying yes to it, and, and bringing your best.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
love that.
the other thing I was going to
Love
say
that.
is the book deal led to me doing a video series. So there's also, I also have a video series online to do, and it's all about, so the company that I did the book for, they wanted me to do a companion, which is a video series,
Okay.
because
Kind of go
some
along
people
with
learn
it. Yeah.
better with video. So it's like that whole thing just came out of nowhere, and I was just like, in each step along the way, I felt like it was maybe not on my list, like, oh, I want to write a book one day, but it was
Yeah.
in my wheelhouse. It was
Okay.
like I felt like it was in alignment with what I want to do, and which is my biggest passion is helping people reach their creative their creative peak.
Yeah. That's
I
awesome.
feel like that's really what I'm here on this planet to do, is to help
Love it.
people find out whatever that is.
Yeah.
So my job title may say I'm a motion graphics teacher, or I'm an animation teacher, but I know what my real calling is to help all the students that I come in contact with to reach their full creative potential.
That is awesome. You know, we're pretty similar in passions, and one of my passions is that share with when people say, what do you like, what are you about? So, what I'm passionate about helping others tell their stories. Help them, give them tools or ways, and like, here's how you can tell. If you want to do a video, here's how you can tell your story through video. Here's how you can tell your story through photography. There's just any way, because I believe everyone has a story to share, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they just don't
Absolutely.
have that. I don't know how to get the story out. So I was like, well, let me share with you different ways that you may be able to,
Mm,
take your story and share it for others. Because I tell people the best person that can tell your story is you.
right.
Um,
Right.
I
There's
also
only
listen.
one of you. There's only one of you. And I think that takes experience, because I know there was a certain time in my life where I felt I didn't really have anything. Well, not that I didn't have anything to share. I just didn't think that people would want to hear about it.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, so what? But that's the thing that really makes you unique. That's how you find your creative voice. So that's another conversation that
Oh
I
my
would
goodness.
love to talk about sometime. But it's like, I think that's a whole other thing. It's like, yeah, creativity, talking about creativity, but then it's like, how do you find your own unique voice, your own
Oh yeah.
jam,
Yeah.
your own vibe, your own style,
I love that. Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that, your own style. So over here on my left, I have a drum set, and I think I shared this a while before, but there's these musicians that I emulated, or I still emulate, that I look and, oh man, these guys are just amazing musicians, and you're like, okay. And I got to a point when I was learning to play that a musician said, don't try to play like me, because you'll never play like me, because I am me. And there's some amazing musicians, and I got to that point where it's like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Like, I don't have to be like him. And he said,
Right.
just you have to try to find your voice. And I've listened to so many different musicians, and like, I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of this guy, I do a little bit of him, but I've been able to, like, I feel like I have my own style, my own voice in when I play, and
How'd you find it? How'd you find your voice, your creative voice?
it was through trial and error. Something, sometimes some stuff just doesn't feel, like, no, I don't like that. Just it doesn't, like, doesn't vibe well with me.
Right.
And just over time, there's like some styles, just like musicians, like, man, I just love what he's doing. And then you just kind of like take a little bit here and there, and you do your trial and error, you're doing this, and um that. And I've been in several bands, and it's like, and you can gel with the musicians, and like, play this, here's the layout of the song,
Layout.
and
Mm-hmm.
here's where the cuts are,
Right.
and here's how we want it to sound, but you're and those are the bands that I love to play in, because like here's the parameters you stay within, but you have be creative, and then but my approach is also less is more for me. So, but also I want to be tasteful when I do something. It's like, at a certain transition part of the song, just a little bit of here, and like, and then that's when a musician turns around and looks at you like, okay, I like that. That was nice. That was tasteful, and it wasn't too much. It wasn't, you didn't try to take over the show. And so, hey, we have with someone saying hi here.
Anissa!
She's someone saying hi. So I was like, she said, okay. tell him I said hi. I was like, you know what? I'm going to post it up right here.
There you go. Anissa is, you every now and then you meet one of those people and they're like, they're really like the source. So she have you met her?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, I have not. We've only met through virtually.
So
I feel like I know her because I met her virtually.
She knows everyone. And she's one of the first people that I had met in this industry that was like, hey, come on, let me introduce you to some people. Yeah. Let me help you out. I have found that a lot of time there's a lot of competition in the motion graphics world.
Okay.
And so it was really, she's such a breath of fresh air and so awesome. When I met her online, she was like really cool and had a lot of energy. And when I met her in person, she was just like that.
Okay.
Just like bundle of energy. She's like, come here, let me introduce you to this person. And this, and so she introduced me to everyone. She was running me around this little, it was like a little Photoshop group, user group. And she was introducing me to all these really cool people. And then we went to the LinkedIn, some kind of LinkedIn Adobe Max after party. And I'm like, this is just, and once again, so this is what I would say about creativity. Is that it's so much about the questions that you ask yourself. When you have when there's an opportunity, when someone says, how would you like to come to this group? Or how would you like to come and speak at this event? Or how would you like to create something? The energy that I bring to that is everything. So if I am bringing the energy of like, oh, well, I don't know if I could really have anything to bring or anything to give, or who am I? Then I think that affects the outcome of what I'm doing. But if I have the energy of like, wow, what are the possibilities here?
Yeah.
What are the possibilities? That question opens up everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because the possibilities are endless. Possibilities are there. They know no limits. So it's not always easy, but if I can challenge myself, even in difficult moments, when it's like coronavirus and you're at home for, a really long time, if I can challenge myself and go, how can I use this time? How can I use this?
Absolutely.
How can I come out of this stronger? So that is really, for me, that's the key. That is the key. And then the next step is standing in the place of yes. And when I say yes, I don't mean like being a people pleaser and saying yes to every single thing, but it means within that wheelhouse that I talked about, within that spectrum of your passion, when there's an opportunity, then I can stand in that place and say, yes, I will do that. I say yes. And not even knowing how it's going to happen. Yeah. So when Anissa was like, yeah, you should speak at Adobe Max, I didn't know how that was even going to happen. But I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to say yes to it.
Yes.
And then I feel like the key is having your yes so strong, and so being so grounded in your yes that when there's obstacles that come up, and there always is obstacles, that your yes will pull you through. It will pull you through all those. So I don't like to fly. I don't like getting on. I don't really like flying. And I had said yes to going to Australia.
Yeah,
and I was on the airplane for a really long time, but my yes was so strong. I'm like, I am going to Australia. I have a message to tell everyone in Australia. I got something to say. I'm passionate about it. So I think having a strong yes is the other part of it. And, and there's other steps. There's, I do a whole speaking, I do a whole keynote speeches on sparking creativity.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a whole process of what I do. But I think my classes are like a microcosm of that, of trying to And you're an educator, so you know what that's like. You
Yeah.
have a student, they don't always know why you're there, but you know there's a reason. You know, like you may not even know why you're here, but I'm holding that space of like, I know you have something to tell, like you said, a story to tell. You have a story to tell, you have something to give, and my job is to create that space and to tease that out of them.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Well, I when you were talking about, when you were saying yes, and earlier you talked about there's fear. Even with that fear, you said yes, and it's like that yes was over that fear.
Yeah.
But I'm 100%. That's kind of like the approach that I take is not just saying yes to say yes, but like, I can do that. I don't know how I'm going to do it right now, but I know I can.
Yeah.
And it'll happen.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do it. Like, for example, the doing this show. This was something that I've been thinking about for so long, and wanted to do a podcast with it too. And it's like, okay, trying to find the perfect timing, trying to get everything just right, and the stars got aligned, and this and that. I finally got. It was when I did the first show. A buddy of mine, friend of mine, was like, "Hey, I don't know if you know him on social media, Michael Cohen, the tech rabbi." And but I say, "Hey, would you be my guest? I'm starting this show," and it was just like, "I'm just going to do the show like next week. Let's just start it." Because I was like, if I wait for that right time to happen, and it may not happen.
It may not happen.
Take that dive and go for it. Go just all in. And like I mentioned last week, I had a break, but yeah, I'm enjoying this, and putting this in. I was one of the things, putting this out there for people to listen to and hear, and how many ever people watch live or how many people watch on replay. I think is the value that this brings for anybody watching this to learn about, the conversations of creativity. And that's what the whole thing was about. I was like, I'm going to do it, and let's just, I don't know how it's going to be a month from now, 2 months from now. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. Just gonna keep
and it's like doing it, but it's not, you don't have to do it perfectly. But I think that there's also a part in there that's important is, I like to do these exercises, these creativity exercises, and it's just for me. And what it is, it's kind of like, if I could just kind of condense it in a little form, I would say it's kind of like daydreaming.
Okay.
It's like when you're a kid. You remember when you were a kid and you used to daydream about your birthday or Christmas, and it's like there's no rules. You're just daydreaming. And I think it's very important. Daydreaming is a really important thing, even as adults, to keep that part of you that allows you to think big, to dream big. And it's, it may not actually happen, but that's okay. I think that is an important part of the creative process, because I don't know if you ever experience this, Claudio, but there can be times when you're creating and it's just kind of like, you're just kind of going through the motions, and it's like, okay, let me just do it, whatever. And that is, for me personally, that's what I hate. Like, I don't like getting stuck in a rut creatively.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, yes, daydreaming. I want to be able to bring my everything to every creative thing that I have to do. And so I think a key part of that is just to have that daydreaming aspect where you just let yourself just get a piece of paper and, maybe meditate or get into a really calm space, and then just daydream, just write things down, do little doodles. And I can't tell you how much that's helped me in all the different creative endeavors that I've taken part in.
That's a great tip, I think, for I think anybody that struggles with that block, that creative block that comes. Because I tell you what, it happens to me. This sometimes I'm like, I have like a schedule, like when I record my videos, and there's like, I don't know what I'm going to record today. I just feel like, and then I'm like, okay, let me just go and just kind of like chill, and then I'll just start like, just let things, and then all of a sudden like boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, I got like 4 ideas right now.
Yeah.
Let me write
And
this
then
down.
you write those things down and you never know what. I remember I was asked to speak to do a creativity workshop in Jackson, Mississippi. And it's for the teens in Jackson, Mississippi. And it was about anti-tobacco. It was a group of teens, and they wanted me to come and help them develop their branding for this event. And so I was like, this is a great opportunity. So I spent a lot of time, maybe you call it visualization. I don't know. I spent a lot of time thinking about what the end result would be. Like what do I want to feel when I'm done with that event? What kind of reactions do I want from the students that are there? What are we going to end up with? And so I spent a lot of time with it, and not all of those things happened, but what it does is I feel like it helps me get outside of the box. It helps me think of like new solutions, and it helps me, I think it really helps me with the creative process because I feel like each time I create something, there is a possibility for something new to come. There's actually something new that can happen, that something people have never seen before. And so that's what that process is to help me kind of bring that about. And so that's what I try to teach my students. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, I wouldn't even say doesn't, because you never know when a seed is planted, and you never know when that's going to come about. So it could be like down the road.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the things that, I really think it's an important thing to teach in lower grades. Is normally what happens, and now I always use my son as this example, because in elementary school, kindergarten, he loved school and he was just into it, and he had the tables, and then as they got older, it was like, we're in rows and we're not talking to each other. Everybody stay quiet. The teacher talks, and we've kind of like squashed that creative spirit to the kids. And then so that's like, I'm hoping like through the storytelling, kind of the way the approach that I'm taking is like, is a way to kind of help bring back the creativity in school. And the position that I'm in, I'm able to kind of make maybe influence, and kind of hopefully it's like, well, here's, by doing this, we're getting those, we're getting the kids to think,
absolutely,
the non-traditional stuff that, like, let's do a book report, let's do this, let's maybe some non-traditional approaches to it, and like just hopefully spark the creative juices. And you never know, you get some of these comic book writers coming out of school, and your photographers, your architects, your animators, and so yeah, it's hopefully to see a change in education in that way. And get more education. And I really love the stuff that Adobe's doing to really help promote creativity. And for those of you out there who hear Adobe, you think like, oh, they have the Photoshop, they have this and that, but there's a really a lot that they're doing behind that. They're really trying to help promote the creativity in education. And I'm all for that. I'm support that, and whether it's Adobe or someone else, it was like, yeah, let's prop up creativity, and let's have fun with it, and let's get messy with it, and let's daydream too. I love that.
And then it's great because you have the tools, Adobe. That's the great thing about it, is that Adobe provides the tools, but you would agree with this, Claudio, that's not enough. You need it's what you do with the tools.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's that creative juice, that creative spark that you have. But hey, I love Adobe too. And I love being an Adobe education leader. And it's like, but the funny thing is, even before I was an Adobe education leader, I always used Adobe products, and, I was always like, obsessed with the latest, whatever coming out. But this just gave me being Adobe education leader. So this is what I thought it meant. So when I heard about it, I'm like, what is that? And people online were like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean you have to go and sell Adobe software? Are you like, and I'm like, no, they got that covered. I was talking to the Adobe people. They're like, nah, no, we've got sales reps.
Yeah.
But what I hoped it meant, and what it does mean, is they help you make an impact in the community.
Yeah.
That is their whole thing. They just
Yeah.
want you to make an impact in the community. And so and once again, it's like sometimes I think things happen just for a reason. It's like, this is the perfect thing to kind of go along with what I'm doing. That was already the direction that I was going in. Teaching made me realize, oh, that's an awesome platform. And I would love to do more. I'd love to do more with it.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and because of Adobe, I got into Character Animator. And something that I've been wanting to do, and like you were saying, this show was something that you've been wanting to do. One of the things that I've been wanting to do, Claudio, is to have my own Adobe Character Animator class, like for sure a class, like a dedicated class, but even bigger than that, like an academy. An actual, so meaning that people can go to this online academy and can learn everything they want about Character Animator.
Yeah.
Because it's such a deep program. There's so much to offer. So anyway, long story short, I'm so excited. I've started it.
I love that, man.
It is happening. It is actually like today, like anyone that wants to start it, they can start it. And in fact, that's what I was doing today. You were asking me, what was I doing today? I was teaching on that, for the academy.
Awesome.
It's so awesome because, and that is like, I love teaching motion graphics and I love After Effects, but Character Animator, I feel like it's such an amazing tool to tell stories with. It's so awesome. So it's such a great thing to be able to teach that and share everything I know with students about that.
So speaking of nice little segue here. So let me see is this the right, wrong one. Hold on a second here. Looking for the right window here. And you tell me if this is that it?
Okay. No, that's one of my classes. That's Skillshare. This is I think that one is the video course, and these are my UCLA courses.
Okay.
So yeah, they have to contact me. They have to shoot me an email, and then I can show them how to get started on.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, it's not on that site.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, that's perfect. That's perfect as perfect segue. That I'm gonna share. What's the best way for everyone to get a hold of you if they want to get into your class.
They can email me. I'll put my should I put it in the chat, or do you want I can just say it?
Yeah, just say it, and you can type it out in there.
Okay, it's DoddsDavid54@yahoo.com, and it's also on my website. So let's see, Dodds David at yahoo.com. DoddsDavid54@yahoo.com. And so that's my email address, and this is my website.
So what I'm going to do here is, if it's okay with you, I'm going to put it out public. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to,
absolutely,
pop it there. So if you want to connect with David and the class, that's his email right there. Check him out there, and I guess they can find you on social somewhere.
Find me on social. Find me on my Facebook page, my Instagram page. Yeah,
man, that's awesome. We've been going for like 50 minutes. Can you believe that?
I can believe it. See, get me started talking about creativity, Claudio. You and Character Animator. Oh,
I know.
And
that was not, and we didn't even have Wildthing on today too. So
I know. Oh my gosh, I know. Oh well, next time.
We'll have to schedule Wildthing for a future episode as well. Man, this has been super awesome. talking with you. I love hearing your perspective and your approach to the creative process. And I love it because I love listening to how everyone thinks, the different, I think you're the first one that mentioned like the daydreaming part in all the episodes. Some people talk about, they write down stuff before they do something. Some people say, I take a break, and you're like, let's just daydream. Let's just like just think about the possibilities. I love it, man. This has been super awesome, and thank you for coming on to the show. Um, like thing, I'll we'll just say we won't say goodbye. We'll just say we'll see you later for now, and
We'll see you later for now. And
now.
Wild Thing is very excited.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, trust me.
This is again. This is. I'm like my mind is just like right now, it's like a sponge, and I'm in just kind of like, oh, like. In fact, I'm gonna go after we're done. We're like chat with the families. Like this was a great episode. Enjoyed it, and for those of you who were watching live, thanks so much for staying with us. I saw the I won't say attendance, but people viewing going up and down. But in replay, if you're watching this on replay, thank you so much for stopping by. And again, thanks to David for sharing his heart today and his passion for creativity. And then for all of you out there, I think everyone can. I'll say everyone is creative. You have that ability to be creative, with whether it's with being artistic or problem solving or thinking of ideas. You all have that ability in you. So thank you guys for watching live, and join me next week at same time. For now, we'll be doing the same time. I'll be looking on social for announcements. Everyone, take care. Be good to one another. Let's go ahead and say peace out here.
Peace out. Thanks, Claudio. This is a blast. Bye, everyone.